Shalom Aleichem. As always, it's a pleasure. Be'ezrat Hashem, we're going to recap what we have learned in the last shiur. In the last shiur, we discussed the importance to align our actions with the berachot, with the expectations from the Torah, as morality, as a connection to Hashem, to align our actions with what brings beracha, what brings the blessings, abundance, harmony with nature, and refrain ourselves from doing the actions that could, Shabbat Shalom, God forbid, trigger the kelala, the curse. And we explained that in order to be able to do so, you have to learn. You have to learn. If a person can read the parasha of the berachot and the kelalot, the parashot of the britot, right, of this covenant. Those three covenants, this three-dimensional covenant between Hashem and Am Yisrael, through the Torah, through those hakika we call it, right, through this pipeline that we have, we can actually direct, channel the toiling, the efforts, the sweat, in quote, the curse of Adam HaRishon, of eating from the Etz Hadat, from the tree of knowledge, and through that benefit, through that toiling, of an amazing outcome. An outcome that we choose, that can yield tremendous beracha, tremendous blessing and abundance. And if we give it to randomness and to reaction and to our surrounding, who knows what the outcome will be. So, in order to get to understand the wiring system, to be able to use it properly, channel the wisdom properly, we explained that last shiur that you have to be sensitive to the brit, to this covenant, respect it, embrace it. How do we do that? So we explained that the covenant is based on the hukim, these laws that the Torah talks about, expects from us, that doesn't have too much logic to the intellect of men, and is based a lot on a trust, on emunah in Hashem, and the emet of the Torah. But what we need, and what we had added, once you read it, and you learn it, and you align your actions based on it, then you're on the right path, you're on the right direction. That's where we left off last shiur. But what I would like to dive in a little bit more now is how to approach those actions. On one end, there is the chok, the chukim, we call it the tables, the luchot haberit, and then we have the mishpatim, we have the intellectual, the logical laws of the Torah that are the mishpatim, right? Which is things we understand, things we grasp. And then we have the action that is an implementation of these two pillars of the Torah, the chok and the mishpat. The mitzvot, the laws that we have to accomplish out of trust and belief that what the Torah is emet, and the laws that we need to understand better, grasp, mepalpel. So how do we approach those actions? How do we approach this Torah in order to really benefit from actions that will really be aligned with the Torah? We said, you read, okay, but there is another dimension that is really hidden in everything that we have spoken that needs to be addressed. So, in order to understand that, we need to understand that something we do every day that will give us a perspective, a better understanding of how to approach the mitzvot and how to approach the learning of the Torah, the reading of the Torah. So we all say the Shema at least twice a day, 3 times a day, 4 times a day. And when we say the Shema, we all know, we say Shema Yisrael, Hashem Elokeinu, Hashem Echad, and then we have the different portions of the Torah. Ve'aya, ve'ahavta, ve'ahavta, ve'aya, ve'yomer. So, ask the question. In the tractate of Berachot, it's in the 2nd perek, it's a Mishnah. Rabbi Yehoshua ben Kocha asks a question, and he says, why did the Chachamim, the rabbis, put the verse Shema Yisrael Hashem Elokeinu Hashem Echad before paragraph of Ve'ahavta et Hashem Elokeinu? What's the meaning behind that order? And the Rambam explains the reasoning behind it. Sorry, before the Rambam, I apologize. So Rabbi Yehoshua ben Kocha answers. He says, so that we can accept the burden, responsibility, and of the Torah, and then apply the Torah, apply the mitzvot, actions. First, you need to receive it, you need to adhere to it, you need to embrace it. Kabbalah, to take the responsibility of this load of trust, of connection with Hashem, and only then can you actually implement actions properly. So our rabbis come and teach us that in order to do the right actions and to be in control of your actions and to align your actions properly according to the Torah, there is a prerequisite to it, that is Kabbalat Ol Malchut Shamayim, to accept, to really take full responsibility and control of what Hashem has given us and is expecting from us. Kabbalat Ol Malchut Shamayim. So the Rambam comes and says, why do we have Kabbalat Ol Malchut Shamayim? What is Kabbalat Ol Malchut Shamayim? What does it mean? One, and accept, and take full responsibility and engage with this beautiful connection Hashem has given us. What does that mean? He says that in the Shema, in the Kabbalat Ol Malchut Shamayim, there is Yichud Hashem, and we're going to go through it, becoming one with Hashem, Ahavato v'Talmudo. It's the love for Hashem and His study. So the Rambam, if you will, breaks down this definition of Kabbalat Ol Malchut Shamayim, on becoming one with Hashem and taking full responsibility, which, based on Rabbi Yehoshua ben Kocha in the Mishnah in Berachot, in the 2nd perek, prerequisite to be able to do the actions properly and to be aligned properly with what is expected from us, from the Torah. We need 3 things. Yehud Hashem, becoming one with Hashem, and we will explain that. Ahavato, having love of Hashem, and we'll understand that also. And Talmud, it's knowledge, it's his education. And once a person can grasp those 3-dimensional, the 3 pillars properly, and it accepts it, becomes one with it, only then, our rabbis teach us, can his actions really be actions with a powerful impact, which leads to what we discussed last week. The proper actions, they're aligned with the berachot, they're aligned with the blessings of the Torah, you yield blessing. So the first element is Yehud Hashem, becoming one with Hashem. What does that mean, becoming one with Hashem? The understanding is to make sure we don't depend on nothing else. Becoming one with Hashem means depending on Hashem. Not leaning, not depending on any other source, on any other essence, presence. Believe that Hashem that resides in this world, that resides in each and every one of us, is an essence. It's a reality. It's a union that you can rely on, but really rely on it. Which means that in life, when we are facing life, we are facing situations, if we want our actions to yield beracha, to yield blessings, we need to make sure we don't rely on anything but on Hashem. And trust fully in Hashem. How do you trust Hashem? Where is the trust of Hashem? If you believe that Hashem is this whole creation, this from physicality all the way to spirituality, everything is Hashem, and Hashem is within each and every one of us, then you know and you believe and you trust in yourself and in your ability to really do the right thing. And know that you will never be left alone, no matter what. No matter what, you're not alone. Hashem lives within each and every one of us. But we need to really believe it. How do we show we believe it? But not being dependent on nothing. And nothing that if this happens, so that happens. If this guy says it, then that will happen. We don't depend on nobody. Nothing. But on Hashem. And on the belief, on the knowledge, on the acknowledgement that Hashem resides in each and every one of us. A person that lives this life and has this perspective in life will also respect the fact that there is Hashem in each and everybody else, every individual, and will try to respect, to honor. Now, if the person decides to disregard, to belittle, to disgrace that essence that's in him, then we need to remind him. Yehud Hashem. Yehud Hashem. So in essence, it's making sure and understanding and having a clarity and the proper awareness of this fundamental union, koach, power that lives in every one of us, that is emet. And as we addressed many times, the more you are emet, the more you follow the emet, the more you pursue the emet, and the more this acceptance, the more this connection, the more this trust crystallizes and becomes one. And then you build a self-esteem. Then you build personal trust. Then you on yourself, because you know that you're trying to be emet. And you're not dependent on anything else. You're not weak. You're not vulnerable. Fundamental number one. And this is layer 1 of 3 to start aligning actions and empowering your actions and injecting your actions with what it takes to trigger the beracha within you, which will yield beracha in your life. Fundamental number 2, ahavatu. What does it mean, ahavatu? To love Hashem. means to become one with Hashem. To be really one with Hashem. To what level? Our Chachamim, our rabbis teach us to love Hashem to the level where you love yourself. You don't understand what that means. It means that the same way a person is so connected to himself, is so in love with himself, with his essence, with his life, and he would never jeopardize his life or let himself go. He doesn't want to let go of himself, of his strength, of his blessing, of his body, of his health. He doesn't want to let go. He's in love with himself. This is the same depth, the same relationship emotionally a person has to feel with Hashem. I don't want to let go. There's no way I'm letting go. I love you so much. I need you so much. We are one. As we always say, Ahava is the same numerology as Echad. Love is the numerology in Hebrew of the word Echad, which means one. When you love, you are one. So, on the first level is not to lean, not to depend, to learn to be independent and stand on your 2 feet because you believe 100% that your quest of the Emet and your belief in the Emet and your connection to the Emet is a connection with Hashem, and it's all inside of you, which brings you to then value that power emotionally, feel it, respect it, love it where you don't want to let go of it, to a point where you realize how important and vital Hashem is to you. And Hashem, when we talk about Hashem, we don't talk about a powerful guy that's sitting on a chair all the way up there. We're talking about Hashem in our body, in the cells that of our body, our ability to breathe, to see, think, to move. All of this should trigger love to a point where you don't want to let go. Just like you love yourself. If a person, and the Ma'aseh, that's what is expected from us, can put the proper perspective in the love that he has for himself, and realize that when he loves himself, and he's so careful about himself. Every person, people are careful not to get hurt. People are careful not to get emotionally hurt. People are careful to make sure they have what they need. If you put the right perspective and you realize that is really saying, Hashem, I love you. The Hashem that's in me, I love you. Then everything takes a different dimension. Then suddenly you appreciate and you recognize how much Hashem loves us. People ask, but how can you force me to love? It's a mitzvah, right? It's an obligation of the Torah to love Hashem, to love God. But how can you love God? How can you force me to love God? The question in itself is so absurd and is lacking so much basics. Because if a person realizes how much love lives in each and every one of us, of Hashem, how can't you love Him? How can't you love Him? This is the second fundamental, the second pillar, second level of prerequisite in order to infuse our actions with the proper energy, with the proper koach, in order to tap into our beracha and yield beracha. The third is Talmudo. The Rambam says Talmudo, and it's very puzzling what does Talmudo mean. So there is two things in the Torah. The Torah has the learning of the Torah. That's one part of it. But there is also the Kabbalat Torah, receiving the Torah. In Har Sinai, when we received the Torah, the Pasuk says, Ta'avdun et ha'elokim al ha'ar hazeh, you will serve, you will work Hashem on this mountain. And the rabbis asked, what do you mean you were going to work Hashem? You're going to serve Hashem on this mountain. On this mountain, you will receive the Torah, or you will apply the Torah. What we learn from here is that Kabbalat Torah, to receive the Torah, is a complete different dimension, a complete different aspect of accomplishing the mitzvot. It's another dimension, it's something else. What is it? Kabbalat Torah. So there's a Gemara in the tractate, in the Gemara of Nida, page Ayin, Amud Bet, page 70b. The Gemara brings a conversation between the philosophers of Alexandria with Rabbi Yehoshua ben Chanina. And they ask him a few questions. And one of the questions they ask is, what can a person do and become wise? How can a person become smarter, connect, and benefit from the wisdom? So Rabbi Yehoshua ben Chanina tells him, well, yeah, maybe yeshiva. You have to sit and learn a lot. Don't work so much. Let go of the work and focus on the learning. So the philosophers of Alexandria thought, well, a lot of people did that, and it really didn't work out for them. Says Rabbi Yehoshua ben Chanina, you're right. You have to pray. You have to ask. You have to want. And is based on how much you are thirsty, how much you desire the wisdom, that's how much you're going to be able to benefit from that wisdom. Because being exposed to wisdom doesn't mean you become wise. We are all exposed to an abundance of wisdom. But very few actually know how to take that wisdom, internalize it, and benefit from it, and turn it into what we call real wisdom, internal wisdom. So then the Gemara asks, well, why Rabbi Yehoshua ben Chanina, he changes his answer so fast, why he didn't know? So the Gemara answers, no, you need both of them. You need to learn, you need access to wisdom, but most importantly, you need thirst for wisdom. Kabbalat Torah, to receive the Torah, is not the knowledge of the Torah. The Kabbalat of the Torah is the desire of the Torah, the desire of wisdom, the desire of, and that thirst for the truth, for the emet. To be able to accept, to internalize, to work through, to turn wisdom into yourself, not just a superficial source of information that you can tap into and use when you need. Chokhmah is not Google, where when you need an information, you go, you tap what you want, you get what you want, and that's it. and it stays foreign. It stays outside of you. Talmudo, the third layer, the third fundamental of being able to become one with Hashem, to become one with what Hashem has given you. All this wisdom, this blessing, the berachot, the power that lives and resides in each and every one of us as a potential. In order to bring it out, you need to want it. You need to ask for it. To the point where if you don't have it, there is no life, there's no point. There's no point to life. What's the point of living the life of a monkey? Of somebody that's being moved like an animal here, there, without any growth, without any purpose, without any direction, without any outcome. The amal, if you recall, we spoke about the amal, toiling, and the basic definition of toiling. What's toiling? We said toiling is putting a lot of efforts without any outcome. Here we say and we scream every day when we say Shema Yisrael, Hashem Elokeinu, Hashem Echad. We're saying Hashem, I depend only on you, on the given me, on the strength you've given me, on the abilities you've given me, on time that you've given me, on life that you've given me. It's all within me. You live within me. Hashem, when I say I love myself, when I say I take care of my body, when I say I take care of my mind, when I grow, and the love that I have, and the importance, and the meticulous lifestyle that I live it for you, because you live within me, so I live for you. All this love is really, when I say I love myself, I really say, Hashem, I love you. So there's no myself. Who's me? Me is how much I'm able to reveal Hashem in my life. The beracha in my life. And third, accept it and want more and desire more of that love, more of that dependence. The dependence that makes you independent. More of that vibrance, more of that power, more of that life. I think it's so simple at this point. If this is your Shema Yisrael, Hashem Elokeinu, Hashem Echad in the morning, what are you doing? You're turning on all the Hashem that's in you, this potential that's in you, that can only turn into beracha, into blessing, into harmony with the world, into harmony with nature, into harmony with people, into satisfaction, into production, into growth. Suddenly you and nature, you and your surrounding become one, because everything is Hashem. This is where the toiling has to be. This is where the efforts need to be. And only then can the knowledge that we get from the Torah really be absorbed and penetrate properly, be used properly. Only then our actions become really one. Only then our actions are aligned. Because if you have this three-dimensional connection with Hashem, when you say Shema Yisrael, Hashem Elokeinu, Hashem Echad, only then you're actually becoming one with Hashem. So one with His beracha, one with His power, one with His world. This is perfect harmony, perfect union. Now, how difficult is it? How difficult is it? Why do we need to be dependent on others? on other sources, other powers, other influences, other people, and think that if this one does that, or this one does that, or this one presses that button, this is what's going to happen. And only if this guy calls for me, this is what's going to happen. Why do we need to be selfish? Or why do we need to be so restricted and limited when it comes to knowledge and thirst and desire for wisdom? All the perspective. If we turn on those three switches, Rabotai, it's a promise from the Torah. It's a promise of the sons of Yaakov to Yaakov when they told him, Shema Yisrael, Hashem Elokeinu, Hashem Echad. Israel, listen, we are one. We are one with ourselves. We are one with our brothers. We are one with you. We are one with Hashem. We are one with nature. We are one. What can happen then? What can happen? Only blessings. Only beracha. You don't even have to be worried of the curse at this point. And what comes out of that tremendous power? Mevarechecha varuch umkalelcha aruch. Whoever will bless you will be blessed. And whoever curses you will be cursed. It's very simple. Because if you are yourself and you are Hashem, you are with Hashem, and you allow Hashem to live within you, this is full submission. This is Hashem Yishmael decides to curse. He only taps in the curse. Not your curse. The curse of Hashem. Because by cursing you, he's cursing Hashem. But he blesses you, he blesses Hashem. This is how, Rabotai, we infuse and give life to our actions. And really master and control the beracha in this world and in our world. And it's how we become one with each other. So when we say Shema Yisrael, let's take the time to really internalize those 3 points and try our best to build self-confidence and independence of anything. Only independence I have is in Hashem that lives within me and in His beracha. Number 2, emet, the metziut of emet, to love, to be so clear in our mind that all the love and all the respect and all the needs that I have are really channeled towards Hashem. It's because of all the koach and the beracha that Hashem has given me. So there's no more me anymore. It's all for Hashem. And number 3, to ask, to beg, to want more and grow more and amplify more this energy, amplify more that essence. Because the more you have it, the more you shine, the more you grow, the more you're in. Shema Yisrael, Hashem Elokeinu, Hashem Echad. I love you all. I wish you all Shabbat Shalom u'mevorach from the bottom of my heart, and I pray that may HaKadosh Baruch Hu help each and every one of us to feel each word of Shema, not only when we say it, but every minute of our day. So once again, Shabbat Shalom. I love you all, and I pray that you have a wonderful, blessed, harmonious, and peaceful Shabbat. Beracha v'atzlacha. Shabbat Shalom.